Hello, everyone. It's Phil Lee returning with a new episode of Civil War Chat. It is Wednesday, the 21st of June, 2023. Click on the subscribe button below here to subscribe to future episodes of Civil War Chat, and also the notification bell in the far upper right to be notified when they are released. Today's topic is the truth about Juneteenth. Let me pull up my notes. About 2 weeks after Confederates surrendered on June 2nd, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston to take command of the state's occupation troops on June 19th. On that day, he ordered soldiers to post bulletins around town, notifying the public that all persons held as slaves had been freed by virtue of Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863. The notice was considered necessary because parts of Texas were a frontier where news traveled slowly and sometimes almost not at all. The first annual celebration happened the following year on June 19th, 1866, as opposed to the June 19th, 1865 bulletin posted by General Granger. Anyway, the June 19th, 1866 celebration was the first one. And the day has seldom been commemorated outside of Texas thereafter until the 21st century. In truth, however, neither Juneteenth nor the Emancipation Proclamation freed any slaves in the United States. Lincoln's proclamation only applied to those parts of the Confederacy where his army had military control. As the London Spectator wrote, quote, Lincoln's principle, emancipation's principle, is not that a human being cannot justly own another, but that he cannot own him unless he is loyal to the United States. To definitively end slavery, the United States had to amend its Constitution to outlaw the practice. Well, that's what needed to be done. Juneteenth was not enough. And Lincoln knew this. Now, the resulting 13th Amendment that did end slavery was not ratified until December 6th, 1865, almost 6 months after Juneteenth. Additionally, the pre-carpetbag Southern state governments were a key to the 13th Amendment's adoption. This is a little known fact. The Southern states played a key role in getting the 13th Amendment adopted. Although the amendment was first proposed in Congress and received the necessary 2/3 supermajority vote in both congressional chambers, it could not amend the United States Constitution until 3/4 of the states also ratified it. Even though states began ratifying it promptly in February 1865, progress quickly stalled. By March 9th, only 19 of the required 27 states had approved it. So there was a need to get 8 more. Moreover, only 3 of the additional northern states that would vote to approve in favor of the ratification of the amendment between March 9th and December 6th of that year, only 3 of them were northern states. Ironically, the amendment was only ratified after 5 former Confederate states, Tennessee, Arkansas, South Carolina, Alabama, North Carolina, and Georgia joined Louisiana, another former Confederate state, to place the 13th Amendment in the Constitution. Thus, you've got 6 former Confederate states voting to end slavery. Now, let it be noted that the blacks could not vote in any of these 6 southern states listed as voting to approve and ratify the 13th Amendment ending slavery. Blacks could not vote in any of those states. So it was Southern white males that did that. They were governments of Southerners, and many of them had fought for the Confederacy. Many of the people that voted to end slavery in the 13th Amendment in those 6 states, many of them did fight for the Confederacy. They were, as I said, they were governments of white Southerners. They were ready to end slavery. That's what this vote shows. They were ready to end slavery. Now, their administrations, and this is an important point, their administrations predated the dictatorial, Republican-controlled puppet regimes enabled by the 1867 Reconstruction Acts and the resultant 1868 14th Amendment. So let me also share with you something on my screen that I think you may have an interest in. This is my newest book. It's, how do I enlarge this? Here we go. I want to enlarge it. This is my newest book, Firepower. It's a novel. So it's a story. It's a fictional story, but it's based upon historical facts. And what it examines and what it's based upon is the tardiness in the Union armies of adopting repeating rifles. At Chickamauga, they had them. And at least one full brigade had them, and they had a devastating effect on the rebels whenever they came up against Wilder's Lightning Brigade that had 2,000 of these repeating rifles. As you may know, I think many of you do know that the typical Civil War rifle could only fire 1 shot at a time. Well, the repeating rifle was invented before the war, but it was not fully deployed, and really not even fully deployed by the final year of the war. This novel investigates why it took so long for that to happen. And as it turns out, it involves Confederate espionage that discovers a way to discourage the Union ordnance chief from adopting the repeating rifles. It's based, the characters, many of the characters are real historical people that pretty much did what I had them saying and doing in the novel. The ordnance chief is General Ripley, and Abraham Lincoln was involved in settling the dispute over why these things were not adopted more quickly. And this was done when the inventor of the Spencer actually demonstrated a model for Lincoln on the White House lawn and permitted Lincoln to shoot the rifle on the White House lawn. So there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes that really historians to this day do not fully understand. So there's some mystery as to what caused this, and what this novel does is bring that out. It connects the dots of real historical events to come up with an explanation for this conspiracy. So Firepower by Phil Lee is a novel. I think it's $14 at Amazon. If you'd like an autographed copy, it'd be $18. You got to contact me. You got to write me or email me, Phil_Lee at me.com. Lee is spelled Leigh. Okay, so that's our story for today. And thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you next time.